So I've just started to cut out this back panel. That's what it was. That was an old. It's got GB on there, but anyway, that was sitting behind the shed, so that's a piece of metal we can use. I think it might have been off something. I don't know, army or something? No, something to do with car parts. Look, GB Lucas. Anyway, so that's that. That's that back panel sort of cut out. I'm using what I got, so it's a bit gash. I've got a bloody 1mm cutting disc in the grinder, cutting alley, which is a bit shit. But yeah, drilled those holes, went up and down there, give it a quick sand. I was gonna take it back to bare aluminium, but that paint is pucker, so I should just clean it up. Yeah, I'll let you know what I'm doing in a minute. So this was our original template. That's going to be the foot, which will be these bent up, and as you can see there's a little cut out here for the support for the rear tools in the back, like the jack handle and the rod and stuff. So I'll just cut that out like that, lose that bit, and then we need to lay our feed, our fuses or whatever, the VSR box, transmitter box, and then that junction box somewhere. And we'll have a think about how we can get it in a bit better. This was a bit of an experiment. So this is a MIDI fuse, it's a 70 amp. Basically I've got 50, a 70 and a 100, so we'll see how that goes for now. But I wanted to get 3 separate cables out, or take one cable and tee it off 3 times on this. But that's a bit awkward, so what I did was I took 3 bits of, I think that's like 8mm square, I'm not really sure. Anyway, that's about 30 amp each. It's fairly thick stuff. 3 of them, put them all in one lug and crimped it up tight, a bit of heat shrink around it, and then we've got our 3 coming out of there, which is nice and happy. So we're good. Like I say, I've got a couple of fuses. If that 70 blows, we've got some others kicking around from other projects. Right, so I've bent the legs or the feet of the panel up, and that was done using some expert fabrication machinery called a fence post and the fence slats. Just jammed it in between the fence slats and bent it over, because I ain't got anything decent at home. So that's going to sit about there, like that. Put a bit to the left, like there. Contactor's going to go here, possibly even behind it, depending on what space we got. The jack's going there, obviously, and I just need to chisel out that little U shape for the support, whatever you want to call that. So I'll mark that up now, and we'll be back at it with a grinder. So I've cut that out and I've given it a quick sand around all the edges. So we best drill some holes in the feet of it, eh? Right, so I've just screwed that on. I decided I didn't need 3 on there, that's overkill, so I've just put 2 on there, 2 down the bottom. Strong enough for what you want, isn't it? So we've just got to drill some holes for that, and we'll be all good. I'll take that back out now and start drilling holes from a fuse box. I've just drilled and tapped some holes in the board, M5 for those, found some second-hand screws I could chuck in there, pop riveted that on to save using screws because I ain't got many M4s. Yeah, those, I think I'm going to have to tap that M3 because they're tiny little ones and I can't open them out much because the box is flimsy. So yeah, and then I'll just pop rivet that on, I think, because they're nice and low profile, and the circuit board clips in there anyway. Right, so that's the power board, whatever you want to call it, mostly done. I've added a relay and screwed it on just in case for future, because I think I might want to tee off a relay for a couple of things. But this box is going to control the horn, so basically they'll have power in auxiliary, power in main battery. Power in will go back out here, boom, that'll feed that and that. And then, oh, hello mate, how you doing? Mr. Rabbit. Then we'll have a ground spur here, and that'll ground both of those, and that relay. That'll come around the back along with these, and I'll ground that behind the jack mounting. And then these three will be output, basically through output, so two of the outputs will come out here, and one will be a spare for that relay when it's wired up, and yeah, that'll go out to the contactor next to it. Right then guys, I don't know how well you can see this because it's getting a bit dark around here, but I've just screwed the panel in, just chucked one screw in it to hold it in, and yeah, it's wired up. So this is obviously going to go on top side of that contactor. I might shorten that, to be honest. This was just something I had laying around from a previous project, this pigtail and the fuse holder. So that'll be on there. Start battery will come at the bottom, auxiliary battery will go at the top. That feeds those. Not looking too bad. VSR is going to slot in there, and it's got a cover that clips on. Alright guys, so just a quick modification to this circuit board to tie in all the grounds together, so that we don't have to run 6 cables in and out of it. We can get away with just running 4. So I've just jerry-rigged this up to check it all still works before I button it up, and got a fob up here. So you've got channel B, which is not connected, and channel A is just rigged up on that light for now. And then if we turn the voltage up on here, click, that is clicking in about 13.8, and you can adjust it on that pot there, and it's clicking off. Okay, it's clicking off just below 12.5, so it's not too bad. We'll see what it's like when it's in the car. We don't want it flicking. I set one up a couple years ago that was on a little VSR with a 100 amp solenoid can, and it used to trip on and off. It had no threshold. So that's the rear feed lug crimped. I've drilled the holes for contactor, and I found some boots, luckily, on the parts truck down the field. Alternator boot, starter motor boot, so that was a lucky find. So I almost forgot, so as I was crimping these on, that's the ground terminal for the trigger coil, I guess you'd call it. So I've got a green coming from this, which is a VSR, that switches it on and off, and I wanted to add either an indicator light or an override switch, because sometimes if you're winching and you're drawing the main battery down, that doesn't get a chance to see what's happening, if you know what I mean. So the main battery goes down below threshold, that then cuts it out, and you haven't got your auxiliary batteries. So we're adding in an override switch through here, just threaded it through there to make the wire run a bit neater, and then we'll bang it on that spare terminal there, and that will we'll also be able to hotwire that basically onto a live to override it, to close it, to keep it closed. So this is the main battery side, so we've got a big lug for 240 amp cable and a little red ring terminal to feed this, and then this side we've had to piggyback these, stretch that over, and then put a little brass spacer so the lugs don't contort up. So I'll tighten that down. It's got a bit of slack on that spring washer, so that'll be alright. And then that one is going to here. All sorted. Just got to put the jack tray back, and then continue these wire runs on up there and sort out all this shit. Getting there, looking fairly neat. Needs another run up there and another run down here.